All right then. So now what we are going to do is I'm going to create a new project folder over here, 13 UI. And here I'm just going to say create a new file, name that file as index.html. And let's create a new folder, name it as CSS. And let's create the new file styles.css. And in the index.html, just like the usual, let's generate the boilerplate code and let's bring the link tag with /css styles.css. And of course, we know that this UTF-8 means this is the character encoding, and this meta tag is used for accessing the 100% screen width and height, the place. It doesn't matter whatever the browser size it is. We need to access the 100% of its initial scale. So that's the usage of this metadata. And then you can change the title, and we are linking the external CSS files just by using our link tag. And then inside over here, I'm gonna say dot loader. Okay, cool. So then right after here, what we are going to do is get into the styles.css. Okay, just like the as usual way. So I'm gonna remove, let's say, margin 0, padding 0, box sizing, border box. That's it. Then right after here, I'm just going to say, let's keep it as like what? Let's access the body tag, which is going to be accessing the 100% viewport width, so 100 VW. Then it needs to access the height of the viewport, so let's say 100 VH. Then a display, it's going to be flex, align items, it's going to be center, and justify content, it's going to be center. So basically we are just pushing everything in the center of the screen, right? So let me load it, our application. So I should be able to see 13 UI. There we go. So let me inspect the elements inside the body. I do have the loader, and the common styles are everything. It's been loaded perfectly, which means the styles.css is loaded properly. Cool. Then let's target the loader, copy the loader dot loader. So of course we're going to fix the loader width as 40 pixels. Perfect. Then I'm going to make sure this aspect ratio as a perfect square. So let's say it. Now if you check it out, you can see we have a perfect square in the center of the screen. Because of the width 40 pixels, it takes the height as well as the 40 pixels just because of the aspect ratio, because 1:1, which means it's a perfect square, right? Then I'm going to change this into position as a relative positions. Okay, now we are going to target the pseudo element, which in case it's going to be the the before, we're going to target the before pseudo element. So let's say dot loader colon before, open it. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether you're using single colon or double colon. Okay, so it will work, so don't worry about it. Then I'm going to make sure this position as an absolute. The reason why we are setting this position as an absolute, because we need to pinpoint this before pseudo element with the loader. So it needs an anchor point. So that's the reason I'm setting the anchor point over here by using the position relative for the loader. Check it out. If you wait a minute, let me add some content so you can see it. ABC, something like this. So now if you expand it, you can see this before element is pinpointed to this relative positions. If you didn't mention this, see what's happening. This, it's over there, but it can't set the positions properly. So it needs an anchor point. So that's the reason we are setting it over there. Okay. So, but anyways, I don't need this content. Let's remove it. Then I'm going to use the inset property as 0. We know that inset, it helps you to pinpoint all the corners, top, left, right, and bottom. Instead of typing top 0, left 0, right 0, bottom 0, I can do it in a single line just by using inset 0. Then I need to have the color. So currently I don't have a color. So let's say border radius, you can see 50%. So I can make this into a perfect circle. Okay, currently it will be a perfect circle, but still we can't see anything because we haven't set any color. So I'm going to create a root variable. So I'm going to set the let's say we are going to set the gradient color, right? So CNG, which means the conic gradient color. So variables needs to start with double hyphen, and then so I'm going to set the color hash 0000. That's the initial color. Then hash ff 0000. That's the second color. Rotate it to 1 degree and 120 degree. Then I need to supply hash 0000 121 degree. This is the root variable that we are setting up, right? And I'm going to use that root variables over here. So basically what we are going to do, we're going to use this background property, and I'm going to use this conic gradient. So open it. For this function, from you need to supply the color 0 degree, the rotation angle. Then you need to supply we use the variable name in order to access the variable. We need to supply the color, right? So I'm supplying that. And right after here, I need to supply the positions to the top right side. Okay, now I can see on the top right what is the color that I want. Then right after here, I'm going to bring the conic gradient, open it, from 120 degree, 120 degree. I'm going to say variable of CNG. Then right after this conic gradient finished, I need to set it to the bottom. See, now we can see the rest of the half. Then right after here, add comma, set the conic gradient, open the function, and from 240 degree variable CNG, it's going to be top left side. That's how it looks. Perfect. Then I'm just going to say background size, which is going to be 40 pixels in X and Y axis. Okay. Then I'm going to say background repeat. I don't want to repeat. So let's say no repeat. Now I need to do some animation stuff. So let's say animations, and I'm going to keep that animation name as well as the loader itself, because that makes sense because we are creating a loader. But in real-time cases, you need to be very specific. Okay. So 2 seconds infinite, and we're going to use the cubic bezier. Okay. So which is going to be 0.3, then 1, 0, 1. Okay. That's the position 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. So now let's go ahead and set the animations. So add keyframes, which is for the loader itself, open it. At 33%, what I'm going to do, I'm going to set the inset property from 0 to -8 pixels. See, now you can see it's stretching out, something like that. We are pulling the circle in 3 different shapes. Then we need to say transform, rotate into 0 degree. We are not rotating at this point, but at 66%, what we are going to do, we're going to say inset, which is going to be -8 pixels itself. We are not going to stretch out more than that. But at this point, what I'm going to do, transform, I'm going to rotate it into like 180 degree completely. Now you should see it's rotating, but it's reverting back to that same. Then at 100%, what I need to do, I need to set the inset 0 before moving to that. Okay. Then I need to transform, rotate it again 180 degree. So now that even looks much better and smooth. Okay. So now we have this perfectly created loader stuff with just a very few lines of code. I think this is way much cooler, just like the previous one what we discussed. Okay. So let's move on to the next one.